So we just left the international border. Now we're headed to the University of Texas, El Paso, where we're meeting with two people. One of them is a political communications professor who has his finger on the pulse of this community. And what we're going to hear from him is how this region, the El Paso area, really feels about being thrust into the national spotlight, given the president's remarks over the State of the Union address recently. The other is a retired Tucson Sector Border Patrol chief who now works at UTEP, the Center for Law and Human Behavior. What we'll get from him is his perspective working in law enforcement, but also stepping outside and looking at it from a different perspective about some of the needs of the border.
12 years. So Sam is an alum, and
We first arrive at the Sam Donaldson Center for Communication Studies to meet Richard Pineda. We talk about how the president's rally tonight fits into the overall debate our country is having about border security.
well, I think it's always important whenever the commander-in-chief picks a place to visit, but in particular in regards to border and immigration policy, both Presidents Bush and Obama have used the border as a backdrop to be able to try to make the case for particular policy. Today's visit by President Trump is different. It's funded by the Trump 2020 campaign. It's used as a kickoff to a certain extent for his campaign. And I think it's less about policy, more about reasserting this message that the wall is part of the president's agenda and that his interest is to try to meet that agenda even in face of a potential second government shutdown.
Oftentimes in border communities, we hear we are more than just the border. Here you have academia, you have military, you have a cross-border economy. How would you describe this region?
I think that the border makes this region incredibly rich, and I think that that's true historically. I think the two communities owe their existence to each other. But I think what you're seeing right now is an economic connection, a social connection, and I think even to a certain extent a political connection between these two communities. And I think it's really troublesome when you've got somebody that comes from outside, regardless of their status, even if it is the President of the United States, somebody that comes into a community and says, you know, you were dangerous, there were these different situations that existed, but then border control policy was the difference in terms of coexisting. That's simply not true. I think when you look at a community like El Paso, our history suggests that not only have we had a really strong relationship with our neighbor to the south, but so much in terms of pivotal moments in U.S.-Mexican history happened here in El Paso. So not only the Chamizal Treaty, but also some of the framework for NAFTA. And this is in some ways the perfect experiment for how borders should work. The flow of human capital, the flow of economic capital, and the flow of intellectual capital. And I think that's what makes this place really unique. And I think that anytime somebody from outside of El Paso makes these observations or casts these dispersions, it's always problematic for us here.